we've got to find out how fast it goes round our track. And that, of course, means handing it over to our tame racing driver. Some say he once threw a microwave oven at a tramp. And that long before anyone else, he realised that Jade Goody was a racist, pig-faced waste of blood and organs. He once had a vicious knife fight with Anthea Turner. That he is in no way implicated in the Cash for Honour scandal. That if you lick his chest, it tastes exactly the same as Piccalilli. That at this week's Brit Awards, he was arrested for goosing Russell Brand. That he sucks the moisture from ducks. And that his crash helmet is modelled on Britney Spears' head.
He isn't machine washable. And all his potted plants are called Steve.
That his scrotum has its own small gravity field. That he's banned from the town of Chichester. That in a recent late-night deal, he bought a slightly dented white Fiat Uno from the Duke of Edinburgh. That he gets terrible eczema on his helmet. That if he'd been the video ref in the World Cup rugby final, he would have seen that, of course, it was a try, you blind Australian half-wit. That to unlock him, you have to run your finger down his face. Like that. That if he were getting divorced from Paul McCartney, he'd keep his stupid, whining mouth shut. That he thought Star Wars was a documentary. He recently pulled out of I'm a Celebrity because he's frightened of trees. He knows 2 facts about ducks, and both of them are wrong. That 61 years ago, he accidentally introduced Her Majesty the Queen to a Greek racialist. That when he slows down, brake lights come on in his buttocks. That if he'd been the manager of the England football squad last week, he wouldn't have been a feckless, ginger gum-chewing buffoon who ruined it for all of us.
Someone who has never sat on Santa's knee. Someone who's never watched Moonraker on Boxing Day.
That after making love, he bites the head off his partner. That he's had to give up binge drinking now that it's got to £1.18 a litre. That each of his toenails are exactly the same as a woman's nipples. That he thinks the Credit Crunch is some kind of breakfast cereal. His droppings have been found as far north as York. And that he has a full-size tattoo of his face on his face. That he isn't allowed by law within 100 yards of Lorraine Kelly. He's never seen an episode of Top Gear because he's a huge fan of Midsummer Murders.
He's terrified of scouts.
It's impossible for him to wear socks. He can open a beer bottle with his testes.
That he sleeps inside out. He once had full sex with Russell Brand's answering machine. That he invented November. One of his eyes is a testy. He was turned down for I'm a Celebrity because people have heard of him.
One of his legs gets longer when he sees a pretty lady.
He doesn't like to get his helmet wet. All we know is he's called the Stig.